Peace and blessings, Vibe Tribe. It is on once again with your life hacks for Bockarie Jombor. Yours truly here. I'm the founder of EY Pele Movement. My wife, Amani Jombor, is the co-founder. And we focus on your spiritual, your physical, and your financial well-being. We want to thank you all for your love and support. Thank everybody for helping us to get closer to 4,000, but it's not about the numbers really. It's really about reaching people. It's not about fame, it's about change, as I love to say. And I want to thank you so much for those of you who have subscribed, for those of you who follow us on Instagram. We give you thanks. Those of you who are part of the private Facebook group, thank you so much for engaging with the content. We share this from our heart because my wife and I has truly been delivered, okay, from man-made doctrines and teachings and commandments, that had us incarcerated at one time in our life. We were deceived to think that we were free until we actually found what freedom actually looks like. So, we're going to talk about that on this evening. Before we do, we're going to go on a very short commercial break. And we're going to be talking about breaking the cycles. And that's actually what I did. Okay, I broke the cycle in my family. We're going to talk about it from a spiritual perspective, and we're going to talk about it from a natural perspective. Okay, I grew up in the inner city of Rochester, New York, where I was born and raised at. Okay, I grew up in a broken family. All right, I seen a lot of things in my life growing up in the inner city, okay, that I should not have seen at a very young age in my life. Experienced some very traumatic things, but I want to share those things with you when we come back after this commercial break. So please stay tuned. I want to share with you how I went from poverty to prosperity, and I'm talking about spiritually and naturally. Yes, it's going up, Vibe Tribe. It is going up. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to Life Hacks with yours truly, Bockarie Jombor. Also, I want to let you guys know that this weekend on Sunday, we will not be having the program on this Sunday. It's Mother's Day. My queen, she deserves to rest and enjoy her day. Okay, even though every day is her day, every weekend we have date weekend. Okay, but that's just simply the time where we're going to take out so she can enjoy her time as the beautiful mother that she is and enjoy her Mother's Day. Okay. So again, the title today is breaking the cycle, right? I'm a firm believer that you don't have to be the next person in your generation to be incarcerated. You don't have to be the next person in your generation to be in poverty spiritually and naturally. I'm a firm believer that you can be the first millionaire in your family. Okay. Even though you may not have been born into resources. Okay. I'm a firm believer that you can learn to earn. Okay. And if you apply what you know that you've learned, okay, then it could bring about spiritual and financial transformation in your life. Okay. I believe this because of me. Okay. The backdrop of my life. For those who do not know me, I want to give you a very brief introductory of who I am. Okay. I was born and raised in Rochester, New York. I was born and raised in the inner city. Okay. I was, contrary to popular belief, because so many people think that I grew up in a two-parent home because of my manners. I wasn't. I just had a mother that taught me right. I had a grandmother that taught me right, and elders in my family. My grandfather, Fred Allen, peace and blessings be upon him. He's not my biological grandfather. However, he taught me what love actually looks like. He taught me how to be a warrior and a lover at the same time, because he was a man who went into the Marine Corps in his younger years. He fought in Vietnam, okay? And I seen him treat my grandmother like a queen. Unfortunately, my grandfather had become ill because of his heart condition, where it prohibited him to be able to do work. Okay, so he had to refrain from doing that. My grandmother, she was the one who went to work. However, my grandfather was still a man's man who carried a pistol on his side. You understand? When he didn't play. he did not play. And I seen this man cook and clean and make sure my grandmother bath water was ready for her, and he pulled out the chair for her. He opened up the door for her, and he just loved on her. He treated her like a queen. Okay. And even though my biological father was absent, right, he stepped in and he taught me what real manhood looks like. And so, because of my father being absent in my life, I recognize how important it is for me to be in my son's life. And so when my son was born, of course, I did that. I raised my son. And my brother, he did the same. So the cycle was broken because all of my siblings, my father was absent in all of our life. But my siblings, my baby sister, my brother, and myself, I'm the oldest out of all my siblings on my father's side. Myself, my brother, and my sister, we all have children. And so we all are present in our children's life. So remember, tonight we're talking about breaking the cycle, okay? I personally truly believe that the family does not have to continue to be two-parentless, if you will. And I personally believe that you can be the pioneer in your family that breaks that cycle. Okay. I've heard some individuals say that they do not believe in generational curses. And that's sad to me, because I'm glad that I have been engaged in spiritual warfare. Okay. So I fully understand that curses on families are real. Okay. It's not some sci-fi like some individuals think that it is. Okay, from my own personal experience, I have dealt with dealing with demonic forces, if you will. Okay, so I know that it's not fake. Okay, I know that it's real. Okay, without a shadow of a doubt in my mind, I know a lot of people. Okay, who. Thank you, my queen, for tuning in. Good evening, Queen Mother. Thank you for tuning in. We greatly appreciate it, my queen and I. Thank you so much. So, the man that you're listening to today, I wasn't always this person. Okay, I had been involved in the street life in my younger years. Okay, and I did go to county jail. Now, I want you to see this. Now, I want you to listen to me very closely, please. My father went to jail. My brother went to jail. And I went to jail. Okay. My father had a lot of broken relationships. I had a lot of broken relationships. My brother had a lot of broken relationships. My father dealt with a lot of women. I dealt with a lot of women. My brother had dealt with a lot of women. Do you see the pattern here? I knew a family in my neighborhood, and for respect of them, okay, I'm not going to mention their name. I grew up in the projects. It was called Genesee Parkway in Rochester, New York, and they actually tore it down. It was a lot of illegal activity, a lot of gang violence that was happening over there, a lot of narcotics dealing over there. Okay, it was just a place where negativity dwelled. So it being leveled, I really don't have anything too much to say about that. Now it's a home development that's over there now. If you go there, in Rochester, New York, and so with that being said, it was a family that lived in the projects, and their family was known as being troublemakers. They was known for going to jail a lot. Okay, they was known for being violent. Okay, and in some families, there's like early pregnancies a lot generation throughout the generation. You have, young ladies getting impregnated. And then in some families, you have the men who don't handle their business, who end up in jail a lot, who live the street life, right? The uncles, the brothers, right? And so with that being said, this is the reason why I know that there's a such thing as bondage in a family generationally. Okay. When you constantly have in family lack, one generation after the next generation after the next generation. Okay. That's generational lack. You understand? And why is that? In some cases, it's a spiritual thing. In some cases, it's a lack of knowledge thing. So I want to be clear. I do fully understand that everything is not a stronghold, if you will, like occurring by a demonic force. Okay. Um, and here we don't run away from talking about spiritual warfare and afraid somebody's going to consider it to be spookism. I could care less about that. All right. One thing I've learned is you have to live your life, by what you know. You understand? And if you constantly withhold your life for what other people think, you'll never ever evolve in your life. All right. Now, in some family, it's a religious thing. You have a generation of religious people in positions and offices, you know what I'm saying, and religiosity. And in that family, they're known for just being religious people, right? You understand? Um, and so with that being said, in my family, Queen Mother, she said, yes, I get it. Children live what they learn. Until we recognize this is not healthy, we can begin the change for our lives and children's lives as well. Rochester, New York, no different from the rest of New York. In our entire country, we are human and generational problems will occur. I agree. That is definitely the truth. Okay, now I'm going to show you a picture of me. Okay. Now I was raised, in the church. Okay. Um, a lot of my cousins and a lot of us were raised in the church. Um, a lot of family members I have are pastors, and on my mother's side and my father's side. Okay, that was me. Okay, but I came into the knowledge of the truth. about what happened to our people. And I want to show you something. This is what I did. Okay. I want you to see this. Once I recognized what happened to us, I said, I can no longer subscribe to this way of life. Once I found out what happened to my ancestors, how we were colonized. Okay. And I heard a brother speaking one day, and he said, why don't you speak? He asked the question, why don't you speak your language? Why don't you know exactly what country you come from and what people you come from? Why don't you have an African name and you're African? After carefully considering those questions and pondering on what the brother said, the movie that came to my mind was Roots. How he was beaten and stripped of his African name, Kunta Kinte, and beaten and to say that his name was a colonizer's name. And he was beaten into renouncing who and what he is. Then I recognized, let me show this to you again. I recognized that Alton Walden, that was my name before I legally changed it to Bockarie Jombor. I had recognized that I didn't really know truly who I really was. And then I had recognized what had happened to our people. Now, let me be very clear. What I teach is out of love. What I teach is out of love. I love us. And I love us enough. Like the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did, Marcus Garvey did, Malcolm X did, Assata Shakur, Angela Davis, Coretta Scott King, Betty Shabazz. I love us to that level, to where I'm not concerned about the backlash of me speaking the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So help me. And so help us as a whole. I'm unapologetically spiritual. I'm unapologetically African. Let me be very clear. And we're talking about breaking the cycle. Somebody has to be the one that's willing to be the pioneer. Had our ancestors not done what they did, had not they had stood up and raised their hand and volunteered for them to put their life on the line for us to be free, spiritually and naturally, then we would not have the choice today, and my name would still be Alton Dewey Walden III. I could not have went to the court and gotten my name changed to my African name, which, by the way, is Mende, and On my mama's side, my yeye side, my ancestor came from the Mende people, which they came from West Africa in Sierra Leone. And so what I did was I took advantage of the opportunity that my ancestors had fought and shed their blood for me to be free. And I said that now that I am free, then I will freely take back my culture. We have been lied to for too long. Even though, according to some historians, that Christianity was in East Africa, let's be clear, because Ethiopia is in East Africa, we still didn't come over here on the ships as that. And it has been historically proven that we had been forced into a way of life that wasn't our own. We were forced to stop talking our language. We were forced to lay down our way of life. Our families were divided. We were treated like cattle. Our land was stolen. Our families were separated. And the truth has to be told. This is not to put hate in your heart. This is for you to recognize that truly what has happened to us has been a situation where we have been colonized, and now the African is out of our minds. And now the African, throughout the diaspora who has been colonized, is now wondering what is wrong with our people. We are literally out of our minds. The colonizer's way of life will never work for us. And I argue that why would your enemy give you something good for you when they only mean you bad? Why would the one whose agenda to enslave you give you something that's going to liberate you? We must stop defending the way of the colonizer, and we must wake up and embrace the reality that we have been cut off from who we really are. And I'm talking about spiritually, and I'm talking about naturally. I'm talking about the person that you see in the mirror is not you. You've been detached from the mindset that you are a spiritual being having a human experience. Yes, indeed, my brother. Looking forward to connect with you. No longer will my people continue to be lied to. No longer will we avoid this topic because we're afraid of a debate. They say stay away from politics. They say stay away from religion. Why? Because the enemy does not want the truth to come out. Why do we run away from our African culture? Why is it that you as an African call your spirituality satanic? Where did that come from? Where did that word come from? Why do we run away from ourselves? Again, we're talking about breaking the cycle. Why is it that we won't name our children the African name? We can't name them something that we don't know. And the truth of the matter is, a lot of times we're naming our children names from another ethnic group, which we all are one. But what I'm saying is that traditionally, my name, Bockarie Jombor, that is my Mende name. Kofi, I have a good brother. His name is Kofi, right? Kofi is an Akan name. Kofi means that you were born on a Friday, but that's an Akan name. Kwame is an Akan name, and that means that you was born on a Saturday. Do you understand? So why does it not baffle us that we have names that are not inclusive with our ethnicity? It doesn't marry with it. And at one time in my life, I was numb to the fact that I'm an African man with a colonizer's name, with a European name. Do you understand what has been done to us? We walk around with their names and we be so proud to say, oh, I'm a Walden, or I'm a Johnson, or I'm a Jefferson, and not really recognizing what you're really saying is that I'm happy that I've been enslaved, and I'm happy that I'm wearing, okay, the colonizer's name who enslaved my ancestors. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes. My queen said they call it witchcraft. If you have an affinity for nature, and that is so true, because whenever we use any type of herbs or things like that, they call it satanic. But yet, if you get a cough drop from a store, and I think it's like Ricola, you know, they actually use herbs in the cough drops. But when we do it, it's satanic. And the Catholic Church, they pray to the saints. But when we honor our ancestors, it's satanic. Because people speak ignorantly, not understanding that we don't worship our ancestors, we honor our ancestors. But see, the lack of knowledge. Our people perish for the lack of knowledge. Since we want to quote that, let's go a little further. And you know what it says? Because the teachers did not teach them. Let's talk about the whole verse. Let's not stop there. It says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And it says, because they reject knowledge. And then it also says, it goes on to say, and because the teachers did not teach them. In my household, in my family, I taught my son where we come from. I taught my son our language. I taught my son multiple African tongues. And once I found out, I told my son where we come from exactly. And I gave my son the African ancestry DNA certificates so that he can have it, so that when my grandchild or grandchildren is born, that they can have evidence. He could pull out and show them, see, look, your granddaddy, well, we come from Africa. We come from Sierra Leone. And also on my Baba side, we come from Gabon. And we're Akele on my Baba side. So on my mama side, we're Mende. On my baba side, we're Akele. And I told my son this. Remember, we're talking about breaking the cycle, the lack of knowledge in regards to who and what we are. Breaking the cycle of running away from our ethnicity. Breaking the cycle of being ashamed of who and what we are. Breaking the cycle of wanting to be like other ethnic groups, like as if though as Africans, we never knew what family looked like. Well, we wouldn't have that problem if our way of life wasn't disturbed by the colonizer. I'm going to say it again. We wouldn't have these problems if our way of life was not disturbed by the colonizer. So in order for the cycle to be broken, my good brother right here is the one that helped me and my wife, along with his beautiful wife, Malinke. Chief Fode Masere is the one that connected me with my Mende roots over in Sierra Leone. Okay, he connected me with my people over there. And my elders gave me my name. Beloved, I didn't just go on the internet and pick a name for me. You know, I did that at one point. You know why? I listen, before this name, a lot of you knew me as Amar Mari. You know, I just grabbed an African name. You know why? Because I wanted to rid myself of the colonizer's name so bad that I just said, I don't care as long as it's African, give me a name, but get this name off of me because what it represents is a sense of ownership. Let me prove it to you. When you see Nike, what do you say when you see Nike? You say a Jordan. You say, oh yeah, that's the Nike brand. When you see the Adidas sign, you say, oh yo, that even if the words wasn't there, you still know it's Adidas because of the brand. It's been branded. When you see that big gold M, you know, oh, that's McDonald's. So those names that we have is a sense of ownership. It's nothing for us. Listen, I told my relative, with all due respect, I'm not wearing that t-shirt with that colonizer's name on it during the family reunion. That is not my name. That is the colonizer's name who put it on my ancestors. And by the way, they're not our slave masters. Stop saying that. Because see, now you're giving in to them and you calling them your masters. They are not our masters. Remember, breaking the cycle. Stop calling yourself the N-word because you're not an N-word. If you're not saying the Gus, King, then what you're doing is wearing a derogatory term, nigger derogatory term, as a badge of honor. It is not a badge of honor. No more than the B word, the bitch word, is not a badge of honor. Bitch is a female dog. Look it up. Check the record. It's time to break the cycle. I will not stand by and watch my people continue to destroy ourselves. We need to get rid of gangster rap. We need to ban that foolishness. I don't care how much money it makes. It's nothing but the trick of our enemy. And listen, what they do is they make a fortune off of our misfortune. They come to our neighborhoods. They know they have us in poverty and they prosper off of our poverty because they know we're starving. They know we're hungry. They know we're desperate. And they'll come in there and they'll give us contracts and we'll sign our life away over $1. I will not stand by and let it happen. I'm not going for popularity. I'm going for salvation. It's time for us to be set free. Our women don't even respect themselves. Our men don't even respect themselves because of these weapons of mass destruction, alcoholism, drug addiction, all type of military weapons in our communities. Where do we get those from? Why don't you see their neighborhoods riddled with alcohol stores? Go to the suburbs and see if you see alcohol stores all over the place. Wake up, African. Don't want our literature being put in the schools. Wake up, African. When are we going to take responsibility? Akuji Chagalia, self-determination. We need to learn from ourselves about ourselves. We lack confidence because we don't know our accomplishments. We lack confidence because we don't know our accomplishments. We don't know about the inventions. We know about Benjamin Franklin, but we don't know who Benjamin Banneker is. We know about George Washington, but some of us don't even know who George Washington Carver is. Wake up, African. Wake up, parents. It's time for you to fight against this system that continues to have our people incarcerated. It's too many people that's trying to keep the colonizer happy with you. And if our ancestors did that, you would not have the freedom that you have. You praise the Honorable Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., but he laid down his life. You praise Coretta Scott King, but she laid down her life. You praise the Honorable Minister Malcolm X, but he laid down his life. You praise Betty Shabazz, but she laid down her life. They were parents too. But they fought for that generation and this generation and many more generations to come. When will we get the courage, the moral courage, the passion to stand up and fight? Aren't you tired of walking around on eggshells? Aren't you tired of your jobs being threatened? Aren't you tired of being put in a box? And if you don't talk like the colonizer, you don't dress like the colonizer, you don't act like the colonizer, you don't think like the colonizer, then it's a problem. Rejected, job denied, fired. You can't wear your hair like you should as an African. We had to have the Crown Act put in order just for us to be able to wear our hair the way we should have a right to wear our hair. What white person do you know has any laws put into place to defend them from discrimination? That was laws put in place to defend us from them, the colonizer. There's no laws put in place for them. When did, where, give me history, show me, please, somebody. Give me a news article of an African person ever discriminating against a European person for wearing their hair. Show me where an African person ever denied a European person from walking across the stage because they had their natural hair. Show me. Show me. In fact, for those of you who want to defend gangster rap and keep making up these lies about, oh, they just talking about what they seen. Well, Biggie didn't just talk about what he seen. He talked about the 10 cracker commandments, and he was teaching them how to be a good drug dealer. Don't play with me. I come from the streets. Don't play with me. I'm not trying to hear that. Wake up. Wake up. Show me where gangster rap is beneficial for the community morally. Oh, we could talk about economically. We already know our men and women are millionaires off of that. But guess what? At what expense? We got our young men, they rapping in the song about taking syrup and taking ecstasy and all these other type of drugs and calling our women whores and calling them female dogs and pushing gang violence and drug activity. Show me where it's benefiting our community outside of economics. What profited us to gain the world, to gain all that money and keep losing our lives, losing our minds, losing our men? Come on now. Break the cycle. Break the cycle. There's so much information around here right now that we didn't have access to when I was younger, and I'm 46. I'll be 47 this year. And we should learn about our heroes. We should learn about financial empowerment. Excuse me. We should learn about these things. And guess what? We need to teach our children. My wife, she told our children what's their background. And we told our children, tell our grandchildren that. We have 4 grandchildren. And we told our children, tell them who they are. Tell them what they are. I'm unapologetically African. And I make no apology about loving my family. Why is it that we always got to break a reason down that we only having something for African people? Why we always got to justify that? Why every time it comes for an African family to come together and we have a family reunion to empower our people, for us to have a family discussion, why is it always frowned upon as exclusion? Last time I checked, it's called a family reunion. It's a family reunion. Huh? We will come together to have a family discussion. Is it exclusion if your mama and daddy says, son, daughter, tonight we're going to have a family dinner, only family only, just this household? Is that exclusion? Is that separatism? Why is it that when the African want to just have an African dialogue, it's always labeled as something negative? Why is it that our own people are preaching against African spirituality? It's a sister that got on there and lied. Queen, you can even put her name in the chat if you want. That's fine. Lied. Talking about we worship Jesus. No, we didn't worship Jesus. First of all, Jesus, the name Jesus, check the history. Didn't even exist of the origin, the beginning of the Bible. That is a Greek word, it's a J word. Check the history. We were animists. We honored our ancestors. We believe in a supreme creator. And although we may not have said God, we believed in a supreme creator. We did not practice the colonizers' religion. Apostle is Greek. Bishop is Greek. Evangelist is Greek. Deacon is Greek. That's not our tongue. But you say the African practice that? The word Christ is Greek, but you say the African practice that. You lying. We did not come over here on no ship practicing Christianity. You a lie. Give me the history. Show it to me. Give me evidence. Show me that we came over here on these ships as Christians. You're lying. Check the history in Brazil. Check the history of Santeria. Our people hid Ifa behind Christianity because we were forbidden to practice our spirituality. Even some of our people who practice hoodoo. Oh, man. You're lying. You're lying. And that's the bottom line. You're lying. Okay? And see, that's the problem. That comes from a colonized mind. I'm not even upset because it's sad. It's sad that we don't recognize that religion was for, and we keep justifying, we keep defending it, we keep holding on to it because that's all we know. Not understanding the colonizer forced that. I don't. You could try to switch it every which way. You could try to whatever you want to say. It did not come from us. What the colonizer gave us, what we know today, is not what we practice coming over here. Our ancestors were not Christians. The Yoruba people practice Ifa. The Mende people have their own spiritual systems. The Akan people have their spiritual systems. The Igbo have their own spiritual systems. Listen, anybody that's over in Africa right now, majority of them practice that because look at all the countries that were colonized. They say that Ethiopia wasn't colonized, right? Well, why do they got white Jesuses in the temples? Huh? Why they got a picture of a white Jesus then in the temples? So if it wasn't colonized, where did that white picture of Jesus come from? I seen it on YouTube. I seen it on the video. I seen the picture of the priest, had the picture. I'm talking about they was African priests, Ethiopian priests, and they had a white Jesus in the church. But yet people keep saying, oh, Ethiopia was never colonized. When I come back on, what I do is I'll play the video for you once I find it. That's if they didn't take it off or after I said what I just said. You know what I'm saying? Because you know they're going to run, oh, let's take it off. No, take it off. Because they don't want us to know the truth. They don't want you to know the truth. That's why they want us to read, because then you would know for yourself. Not only know thyself, but you need to know for yourself. And stop believing all these lies, okay, that our enemy has put in our heads. Okay? And we can break this curse of poverty. We can break generational lack by us learning financial strategy. Listen, family, if you're spending all these hours watching TV, why aren't you learning anything to financially educate yourself so you can educate your family? It's accountability time. No longer are we in the age now where a lot of this information is hidden from us. There's so many of our people out here, including my wife and I, okay, Sky Legacy Financial Services, LLC. You know, we help families to create and transfer wealth. My wife and I, we're serial entrepreneurs. We're in real estate. We're in life insurance. Okay. We're in the e-commerce space. All right. And we'll see what happen to the business after this. I'll keep y'all posted. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see if this is the land of the free and home of the brave now. Let's see. Because I'm going to call them out. Because if this is the land of the free, then we should be free to be ourselves. We should be free to love ourselves and be ourselves. And that's the bottom line. All right, I'm in it here. Mama said, Ufi Dojo. And please check out our interview. We interviewed Mama Ufe Dojo. And she's Gullah Geechee. And she did a spiritual awakening session with us. So please go check that video out. It's on our YouTube channel. It's on our playlist. Go into the live listing. A lot of people don't know where that's at now, but you got to actually move over in those category tabs there, okay, and go over. You know, you'll see what is it called? You'll see shorts, you'll see videos, okay, and just keep scrolling over, and you'll see a tab there, and it says lives. Okay, all our lives video fall under that tab. So if you've been looking for it, you say I don't see it. It's because it's under the live category. Okay, so make sure that you check that live category. Okay, Mom Queen said, and they all migrated from Kemet. Thank you. Appreciate that. Tinky, yeah, Tinky. Tinky, yeah. And that's our Mende tone. That's our language saying thank you, Mama. All right, man. I thank you all for tuning in. I'm getting ready to close this out. Thank you, everybody, for your love and support. My good brother said, wake up, African. That's right. And what I'm here to tell you, family, we can make it. We can do it. I mean, think about Madam C.J. Walker. This is the reason why we need to have these dialogues more. Okay? Because Madam C.J. Walker, she became wealthy. Now think about it. She didn't even have the access to the resources we have today. Okay? Then you got numerous, titles of Black Wall Street throughout the nation. I mean, in Chicago and Harlem. And, many people were able to create and transfer wealth during that time. Okay, it wasn't as many as it is now, but we can do this. We can do it. I'm telling you, it's being done. I've never seen so many rich, wealthy, young people. I'll be listening to them. They're younger than me. They're millionaires. Okay? And I listen to them. We're not the same. I'm old enough to be some of their father. And us older people need to learn how to humble ourselves. We got to break that cycle too. Don't want to listen to young folk thinking they so ignorant. We need to learn how to listen to each other and get along with each other and respect each other, because respect, elder, go both ways. That's another thing we got to get broke off of. You think I'm an elder, I can say and do whatever I want. No, you can't. No, you can't. Not with me, you can't. We're going to have some problems. And I'm not going to disrespect you, but I will check you. Again, I'm not going to disrespect you, but I will check you. Understand that. Respect go both ways. Okay? And we got to learn how to love each other. We got to break this cycle of hating each other, and we got to start loving each other. And if that first starts with individual love, then we can start loving as a collective. Okay? But we got to get that broken too. We hate ourselves, and ourselves meaning individually. So that means when we look at each other, what we see. If we hate ourselves, that means that we hate ourselves. Okay? And we have to get rid of that. We have to get rid of that. We got to go back to loving ourselves, loving who and what we are. Okay, family? Love y'all. Have a blessed rest of your evening. Okay, we'll see you next week on Thursday at the same time, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay, again, make sure you please check us out on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out there, okay? All right. Thank you, everybody, for your input. And I appreciate it. I love you all. And look forward to fellowshipping with you all. If you'd like to come on the program too, if you have a topic that you would like for us to talk on, okay, let me put up this banner right here. Okay, you can email us there. Email us at eypelemovement@gmail.com. Okay, if you want to be a guest, if you have a topic that you would like for us to touch on, again, please email us there. Okay, I thank you all again for tuning in and coming on this evening. And also make sure you check us out on Facebook in the private group. Okay, before you join, I'm going to vet you. We're going to do a live video chat. I'm going to make sure it's really you. I don't believe in letting hackers come in. If it is a hacker, somebody must have hacked that person's page after they got, interviewed. Also, speaking of which, this off the topic, please set 2-factor authentication up on your pages, family. Please set up 2-factor authentication on your pages, family, so people can stop hacking you. Okay? Set that up. All right? Love y'all. Have a blessed rest of your week. Okay, my queen said next episode is spiritual decolonization, divine consciousness. I'm excited. This woman breaking it down. She have all those nice slides and everything. So if you like to be entertained, the slides and all those things, yeah, come on, watch her. Come on and watch the queen. Also, she says happy Mother's Day for those who, do celebrate it. Take out the time to celebrate it. Hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong with honoring our mamas. I don't see nothing wrong with honoring the mamas. All right. Even though we should always honor them and don't take a day, it shouldn't take a day like that for you to do that. But, hey, spend some time with mom, enjoy mom, send her a love gift. All right, peace.